I'm not interested in talking to anyone. Though it is warm and the wind has come up as though we were preparing for hurricane weather, I hurry back to my car, and on the way find something, anyway, in the corner of my pocket. I ate, and there should just be the person who was talking about architects, or one of the other people I was with. There should be just that person in the world, with no banks or culture. Went out, so I take the car, and a whole system of banking and money is based on hierarchy. We'd have to have monopolies for me to communicate with someone who has died. Starting daylight savings time, though, I will need to read the newspaper if I am working on a way of breaking the bank at Monte Carlo. Except for knowing someone who has already died, it didn't help me to enter a public building today. Unemployed, though when I heard someone who used an obscene word the other day, he didn't look as if he were in another world. And so I'm worried, especially in this sultry weather. I ate, and then if I go out anywhere when the weather is sultry as if I were in the beginning of a monsoon, and I am going to communicate with someone who has died, I will have to have a lot of money. 8. And I'd need to know people who were mercenaries. I'd need to have the military if I'm going to think of nothing except being in a social hierarchy after I'd died. I've changed my mind. If plants are able to be angry or can have a moral being, I'd be part of the social hierarchy. I'd be furiously angry. If these people weren't lying, and they don't understand what they do or say, is it because I could have been matter or a plant? If they are not lying, and they don't understand what they do or say, is it because they could have been matter? I didn't lie. I never lie. And if they didn't lie and didn't understand what they did or said, is it because we could have been matter? Are these people lying if they went somewhere? Are dogs and other animals lying, and wouldn't have any reason for lying? If these people are jealous, but jealousy is in plants and isn't related to lying, dogs are jealous. I could have been matter, and I feel jealous when I go out in public, when I go anywhere. Wading in the grass, it is like an elephant, trunk extended on the trunk. Wading on the grass, trunk of woman on the grass, in it. The nudity of poverty and calm, scratch on it. Dreams of people's abandonment of each other, where it is beamed into them, are the same. Excreting crowd, and not evening or light. The social being from inside itself can be approached calm. They, like reality, are a function. Scratch on it, scratch on it, scratch on it. The men, when I'd been out in the cold weather, were found lying on the street, having died from the weather, though usually being there when it's warmer. The men on the street who died in the weather, who are bums observing it, that instance of where they are, not my seeing that. Cranes are on the skyline, which are accustomed to lift the containers to or from the freighters, as the new wave attire of the man, though not muscular but young, with the new wave dyed blonde hair, seeming to wait at the bus stop, but always outside the hair salon. The bums, the men, having died from the weather, though they're doing that, seeing things from their view when they were alive. So not to be upper class, the new wavy baggy pants, the man with the dyed blonde hair, who's always standing in front of the hair salon on the corner. The public figure, as gentle as the freighter and their relation, that of the man with the dyed blonde hair and new wave attire and the freighter. Of our present president, who doesn't know of foreign environs as vacant, and to the freighter and his and its relation, when our present president is in an inverse relation to them, when there's a social struggle in their whole setting, which is abroad. The bums who've died, but could be only when they're living, though it doesn't have desire, so inverse in that one setting. To their social struggle in their whole setting, which is abroad, and its relation to the freighter. To the person of new wave attire, that person's relation to the freighter. When the bums are not alive, at this time, though we're here, not abroad, and not aware in being so of a social struggle. The man in the new wave attire, as the relation of him being another person, as the freighter and his and its relation. The inverse relation to the freighter only occurring when that person is living. The man who's accustomed to working in the garage as having that relation to their whole setting. I have been, am dumb, as the way in which that would occur, the bums, not their existence, or dying from the weather, though the effect of that, for me, to be dumb, to have been actually stupid, so that really could occur, the bums, in an event, so dumb as an active relation to the bums or to the freighter, and the still oil rigs on the ocean. To the repair of the car, so inverse in that seeing, though it doesn't have desire of the present, as the oil rigs, which are the freighter on the ocean, pushed up to be the relation, with me, by my being, am dumb, there to have that occurrence. To have that, for them, some people who'd had an attitude of snobbery always, so that they're dumb when it's senseless, that relation with them. I almost froze, and realized I could die from it when the bums were in that situation, and then not caring, though that's not possible, which had been repaired, to the car, as I am, when that's senseless, though it doesn't have desire of the present. The bums found later, in the whole setting, though when the car hadn't been repaired, and so their grinding and movement in relation to it.